Hi, I'm international publicist Michelle Tennant Nicholson. And for the past year in the pandemic, we've been doing a special series with the book that I wrote with my business partner, Drew Gerber, called 21 Day PR Action Guide. So you can hashtag 21 Day or hashtag 21 Day PR Challenge. We also did for about 3 or 4 months, we did a special series where we did a real PR campaign in real time with a gentleman named Clayton Moore. He wrote a book called Good Cop, Black Cop, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. And we took about 150 authors, information officers, people who are considered sources and experts through this actual PR action guide. Okay. And they got to launch their own PR campaign while we were doing Clayton's, and they could see an actual campaign as it's happening, as it's going. So we're doing this interview today to kind of let you know what happened, right? Because we had just gotten through this, right? We had done all the press materials. This is the online press kit, bios. We'll get into the media coverage here in just a second. His images, questions the press could ask him. These are news and story ideas. Of course, I was the contact, but let's hear from Clayton. Clayton.
Hey, how you doing?
What's been happening? Tell us, what's it been like to launch a book, do these interviews? What's been happening for you?
Wow. Where do I begin? Actually, things have been going so crazy. Interviews, podcast requests. The biggies, I had correspondence with NBC, Nightly News. We've been trying to work with things with them, and at one time, I guess it was kind of mad chaos in a positive way when they was trying to reach me at my work when I was at Planet Fitness, and it was everybody's there that was like so excited for me, and that day it was pretty cool. Things had gotten to the point where I had to kind of not quit my job, but go from full-time to part-time just to fulfill the request and other obligations that are coming along with it. And I understand what pitching is now.
Awesome. Well, why don't you just tell people? So because people always kind of go like, well, what do you mean like pitching? So how would you describe it?
Okay. Because that was me. When you talk about pitching, I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? And I guess me having negative knowledge in this field, those words are so Greek to me. But pitching, if I can use a sports analogy, is the pitcher has this ball. The ball is the book or your campaign, whatever you use it, okay? And that pitcher is about to throw that to the catcher. Well, the catcher is the media and the news outlets and everything out there. We're not just going to throw it to this catcher. We're going to throw this catcher on this team, on this team, on this team. And we're throwing this book out, this ball that everyone is going to, receive it. And that's what's been happening with the book, is that we've been pitching it to everywhere and people are receiving it. And some are throwing it back to me and some are not.
That's a wonderful analogy. It reminds me of an analogy I used, I think about 10 years ago now. Someone was asking me about results. And I said, well, results are like an umpire, right? So when you have different umpires, you have a greenie umpire. They were like, well, it could be a strike. It could be this. It could be that. And then the medial one goes, well, no. It's definitely a strike because of this, right? So you have the greenie and then the person that's intermediate experience. Right. But that seasoned umpire will always say, it's nothing until I call it.
Yeah.
And that is the thing about PR. That's the thing about book sales. It's the thing about success. Who calls it? You call it. Mm-hmm. You're the author. You call it, right?
Right.
So you're either thinking that it's a success and you're declaring it a success, or you're declaring it something else. But it sounds like you're declaring it a big success.
Oh, huge. I mean, a massive success. I was able to be interviewed by a federal reporter from the AP, Associated Press. I had the news media outlets did stories on me. I had a book signing where I had a police officer from San Diego, California, actually attend my book signing. And it was just incredible. An author from Michigan drove down a couple hours to my book signing.
Wow.
So
yeah. How does that feel, Clayton?
I can't put it in words. I really can't. I guess you have to know my story, to understand really what I'm going through. I mean, you're talking about a guy, like I said, who just grew up on the other side of the tracks, and now this is all happening to me. I'm being introduced to people who are at the top of their game, who are, elite professionals in their field of expertise, and they're talking to me, they're associated with me, and, they're letting me tag along with them, and it's just incredible, just totally incredible. And there's no words I can justify in using to even do justice to what I'm feeling right now.
Oh, I'm so happy about this.
Mhm.
Now let me ask you, because I thought I just have to, there was a lot between our team and you, Clayton. And one of my favorite moments, we were on the phone, and thank you for being so gracious. I did hunt him down at Planet Fitness because it was NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. And I was just like, I literally got out all the Planet Fitness phone numbers, and I just went down the list and started calling. I was like, does Clayton Moore work here? Does Clayton Moore work here? And sometimes you just have to be available. And I know sometimes you're not. And the answer, like for the press, is no. And then sometimes they move on, right? In this case, they were very gracious and were like, oh yeah, I can't wait till he gets on his lunch break or until he's off for the day. So that was really great. But when we did speak, one of the things that you said was so adorable. You're like, about your local press. You're like, so the local papers come in to interview you, and you asked the guy, how did you hear about us? And I was like, well, we've been pitching them, right? So talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, because and that's, you gotta understand, that's when I'm really start to understand what pitching meant. Even though we say we understand it, we get it, I didn't have that aha moment until then, and then, oh, this is what they do. This is what it means, Perfect. So, because they show up, I have my book signing, and one of the first people there, lady pulls out this camera. I have no idea who she is, didn't recognize her. Me and my wife are sitting at the table. People are coming in, buying books, and she took pictures. And we asked her, we had a little break there. I said, can I ask, who are you? Where are you from? And then she told me, and I go, how'd you hear about this?
So awesome. I love that. I love that story. Like, it's like, it has to really sink in. I think for a lot of clients, like, they just come to us for PR coverage. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't understand, right? I've been doing it for 31 years. Why don't you understand what I know, right? It's like when you're coaching somebody, right? You're just like, well, but then you always have to have that beginner's mind, like, oh, that's what's happening. Let's take people through, so if they want to read those articles, I just want to show people. Notice, by the way, that say something, Clayton, and everybody look in the bottom left-hand corner of Clayton's screen. His website's there. Go ahead, Clayton, say something.
Clayton 1 2 3.
Yeah, because when we talk, we're on the Zoom camera gets us.
Okay.
Instead of using his name, he put his website address. So if you go to goodcopblackcop.com, you're going to see this, and this is his website, right? So this is what the public sees, and then they can see book reviews. They can go buy the book. They can contact him for speaking opportunities. This is for the press. So this is the online press kit. And this is what we did. This is what we went through with the 21-day PR and the hashtag real PR, real time. And then what you'll see here is the materials that we put together. And then if you want to see the media coverage that Clayton is talking about, you go to the media coverage page. The Blade is one of the local papers, as well as Sandusky Register. And I used to do a lot of work in Ohio. So the Blade is just really, it's a big paper, man.
Yeah.
It's a big paper. And when that came through, because I remember trying to get the Blade's attention for my campaigns way back many, many years ago. So when that came, they're asking me to pay for it, which you should if you want to read it. Somebody worked hard on that. And then let's go to Sandusky Register. So great. There he is. Oh, Thank you so much for having our book right there. So great. It's so great. Yeah. And then it tells your whole story here. Now tell me about, like, did people start to contact you with it? Like, what happened when the coverage started to come out? I'm just curious. Also with your family, friends, the community, what happened?
Well, I've been called famous. That name has stuck with me. And now that you're famous, you don't return my calls. So I'm getting that from my good friends joking at me, and so that's pretty cool. But yeah, as soon as the PR started coming out, I've gotten podcasts. I had an interview for the radio station in Findlay. I have some other podcasts with people reaching out to me. Even one from the United Kingdom that we scheduled something and talked the other day about, which was just crazy. I like, this dude has contacted me. It's just been incredible, and you can see paper by paper, radio station by radio station, things are happening and coming out. And I got a chance to speak at my first local event, the Kiwanis, and that went pretty well too. So it's kind of amazing.
So the next step is really just to leverage it into opportunities where you can go train, right? And so now you have a portfolio, and the media begets media. You can see how that happened also with the Blade, because I think that some of the smaller papers actually happened before the larger papers, right? And then the papers will then attract the TV stations, and then sometimes national happens before local, but more oftentimes than not, the local coverage will get you that nice portfolio that then attracts the national.
Yeah.
So, well, we're completing. I mean, you're going to have the press kit for a full year, and of course, we're going to see through any other opportunities that come through for you. But what do you want to say about the whole experience and for your future right now, just to kind of, so everybody feels complete about the whole process? I just want to say, for me, I'll start. I didn't know what was going to happen for you. You know what I mean? Like, it was a little bit of a risk. Like, we're going to do this, and we're actually going to show everybody what we're doing. And we did, just so people want to know, like, we did do that first pitch, and we shared that pretty well. I just want to show you that we did do a few more pitches. So we're talking about pitches. So these are all the pitches that we did. So we did a total of, 5 pitches. Well, 4 pitches. This is a media alert, and this was a press release. So when you look at the media alert, that was for, it's in the book, the 21-day PR action guide, but it's just basically the who, what, where, when, and how of book events, right? You had told us you were doing some book signings, and we just sent this out. So this is something that just kind of let everybody see all of it here. So you see the who, what, where, when, and how, why, who to contact if you want an interview, and then a quick bio. Very, very straightforward stuff, and the press, that's all they want. And the press releases, they really do like to just cut and paste. But a pitch is really then for an interview. So for me, I'm super thrilled. I was nervous when we started. I'm super thrilled with the results. I'm super thrilled to find out what happens, in 5 years. Please stay in touch and let me know, hey, I'm training 100 cops now, and that's going to be very satisfying. But what about you, Clayton? What do you want to say?
Well, the first thing I think people need to know, you guys probably couldn't have picked a worse candidate or a raw candidate. I mean, you talk about, I'm dead serious. So this, for you guys to have the success you're having with me, if you can do that with me, trust me, the sky's the limit for anybody. My background being a law enforcement, I'm a person, obviously, with my training and my knowledge in the field, that has to be in control or take control of the situation. That's what I'm trying to do. I had no control in this situation. I mean, absolutely zero. And that was a struggle for me. That part was a real struggle for me, and it was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable, and it took me a while to really adjust to receiving everything and really appreciating everything, because again, I was in zero control, and I had to be so totally submissive, you know? And so I guess my point in saying that, if I can do it under those factors, people, this is something, and I talk about Wasabi all the time and what they do now. And I'm like, I wish I can have a rerun, you know, and I think things would be so much better for me, and I could be such a better, candidate. But just understanding that there's so many phenomenal people that affect the world that I would have never kind of thought about, and books, other things out there are powerful, and people read these things, and it has an effect, a positive or any type of effect on other people around. I mean, totally. And I'm like, wow, it was just incredible. And I got to be a part of that, something that I would have never in my life imagined. And just to see you guys work and things you do and your passion for what you do, it's like, wow, this is just totally incredible. This is something that I'll never forget.
Oh, Clayton, same, especially, in the history where we are on the human planet, right? It's not just, it's not just Michelle and Clayton. We're in a very, George, for those of you who are going to be watching this in the future, during this time, George Floyd was, the trial was happening, right? So a lot of people wanted to hear from Clayton's experience, just because the race relations and how the police are treating African Americans in particular is at an all-time high, and the conversation is really weighing on all races. We've also had a lot of Asian violent people that are taking hate crimes against Asians have also been at an all-time high at the end of the pandemic and so forth. So it's been, historically, we're going to look back at this time as an awakening, I hope, for all of us, for compassion and understanding. But also, Clayton, I want to say that, your view of yourself, I never saw you anything other than a top expert. You know what I mean? And I think it goes to show you, like, a lot of times clients will come to us and we were like, yeah, this is a great story to great expert, great source for the press. And so we have all kinds of confidence in you. It never even occurred to me that you would need a do-over, because it's you. It's authentically you,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm that type person too, Michelle, that I just want to make sure I'm giving my best, because I don't want to let other people down. And for everything that you, Kristen, and Stephanie has done for me, I just want to make sure I'm just doing that and more to, for you guys. It's not even about me. I just want to be that thing for you guys.
Well, you are. So check that off your list. Job well done. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. I know that our relationship isn't over, but I just wanted to give everybody, because everybody's been wanting to know, like, what actually happened. So there you go, everybody. And I feel a blog entry coming on about the pitch analogy that Clayton came up with.
Okay.
Right. So, all right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.